Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the 462nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in these weekly series of workshops. And I think we'll enjoy having the presence of Mr. Mayran Cash here once again to be able to listen to. Thank you, Mr. Cash. Are you ready to begin?
Yes. Good morning, good day to you, as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, as we always say, to share knowledge and learn from each other. We welcome you back to another session of knowledge sharing and understanding the totality in one way or another as it comes that we mature to receive the knowledge as the fields of the universe. We used to claim that somebody was special and could understand different dimensions of it. As I remember a talk from the United Nations offices in Brussels some years ago, when we met them to explain to them that they'd be responsible for management of the Keshe Foundation on my passing. The head of United Nations, after I was come in the afternoon, because they had to get instructions from New York, said, Mr. Cash, there are every few hundred years a scientist who can understand many dimensions. And the last one was Da Vinci. And in a way, the way we have taught you, you all have become Da Vinci's. You all now understand, from the agriculture to the health, from the how the organs of the body really works, that you didn't have to steal dead bodies from God knows where to do examination. Now you do it yourself with openness of mind and understanding of the energy transfer and transmutation. You understand the work of the universe. You understand a lot how to go from one place to another. And so we have made Da Vinci's out of the souls of physicality of the man of today. It's you who has to decide which way this knowledge. You have to decide in how we understand this knowledge and how we apply it and how it suits us and how we create that accommodation for the future. In today's teaching, we try to split the teaching in 2 or 3 parts, maybe more, but all depends how we take it and we go forward. Yesterday, we had the pleasure of having 2 or 3 members of the Universal Council in Linz with us, and it was a pleasure to see the humbleness and the servitude in all of them. And it is pleasure to see how they are connecting, how they understand each other, how, in simple words, you see, you take another box. Yes, they have achieved that level. When you see them, when you talk to them, they don't go to ask for wealth, they don't ask for anything else, but all of them ask for unification of the man, elevation of the soul of the man. And the Universal Council members are reaching that point. They don't ask in the systems, when they're in Linz or outside, anything that I become wealthy or this or that. They connect to each other to bring that elevation of the soul of the man. And that elevation has arrived. Mankind gradually will come to that point to understand more. Mankind gradually understands more and more in how things are done. One of the cornerstones of the knowledge to be understood for man to become passengers of the universe and what I call good citizens of this planet or any position in the universe is to know that everything he needs is free. Cosmic rays will supply. In some cases, we have to set up the structure for it to become a habit, and then the structure we set up becomes obsolete. In due course, as more and more people learn how to use it, but we have to set up these structures. We have to bring these structures that in doing so, you become part of. You become totality of. You become, in a way, members of the universal community without the universal community. What will be interesting is to see how the man moves from this position. Man has been subordinate to governors, rulers, and everything else except himself. Even the richest man is subjected to another president, and the richest president, the most powerful president, is a slave to another group who puts him there. Man should be free of these things. And to that effect, to teach mankind to move on, we have brought in the new conditions. Understanding and work of the cosmic rays sits within the structure of the understanding of the work of the soul of the man. Once mankind understands how cosmic rays are produced, how they're controlled, in which level, and how they are manipulated to create a condition of what is needed, mankind will find out, will tap into the universal community and universal energy in a direct way. But it takes time because he ignored it. He, in a way, over time, never understood what was part of him. To this effect is the job of creating one nation. And in that nation, no rulers, no one to be the head of, but all to be in position and a condition to achieve. These things take time, step by step, for mankind to develop, to understand. Our scientists and the people who work around the Keshe Foundation are getting enlightened. They can see. Slowly and gradually, they understand what it means is the cosmic rays which facilitates what we brought you for 3 years with the soul of the man. Without the cosmic rays, without, in a way, when we say cosmic rays, is creator rays. The emission, the enlightenment of the knowledge through the knowledge and the fields of the creator, that's what to us is a cosmic ray, not what you see and you consider in the present world of physics. Once we understand, we have the control. Once we understand the process of the release of different fields in the cosmic rays, even the matter state is part of that cosmic rays, then we become independent. Then we learn how to tap into it. Then we become the creatures of the universe. In a way, we taught you about the nano-coating ganses and the soul, but the creator of all this is the cosmic rays. It's the amalgamation of those who creates the matter states, the amalgamation of interaction of those who creates the ganses, the amalgamation of the fields of the ganses as a sperm or an egg or energy fields of the brain creates the soul. Now you understand why we brought you to this point, to understand the essence of cosmic rays. And in that process, man gradually will be graduated to understand the totality. It took us time to teach you in nanotechnology and the GANS technology and the soul of the man, and now you meet the creator of all. The fields of the universe from the source, from the creator, from subdivision and interaction of the fields of its own, and none else. In a way, the cleverness of the creation was very simple. One single ray led to the creation of totality. Many of you should have understood this. In book 3, I clearly explained this. In book 3, I brought everything to be understood, but it's what it was and what was not understood, which is what I call the exciting part of the teaching. the understanding of the totality. We all come from one ray. We all come from the essence of the creation of the Creator and nothing else. In so many ways, we have become wise to understanding of the totality. Go back to the books. Go back to whatever I have thought over decades. Always comes from one field. The essence of the creation, the division of the field of the universe, and understanding of the totality of the interaction. When you look into the book number 1, when you look into the depth of the understanding of the knowledge and technology, what do you see? All comes from one ray. Begins from one and ends in one. And how it actually appears to be is the essence of the creation and the totality of the what I call the work of the Creator. When you look into the rays of the sun, when you look into the rays of the soul of the man, when you look in the dimension of understanding of the totality, it all comes from one ray. But in interacting with itself, in absorbing and releasing from its essence, leads to the creation of the rest. So, in fact, the creation and the Creator is one. Look at the way I have drawn the shapes of the plasma over decades. It's one line circling around itself. No more. An interaction of circling around itself leads to the creation of interaction of, division of, and creation of. Depends on which level it interacts. Depends on what level it comes to meet its destiny and in a way understand its totality. Mankind needs to understand this, and once he understands that it all comes from one, mankind will see the totality of the knowledge. In a way, mankind become wise to understand its own creation, and then we come to one point. If the soul of the man is the creator of the man, so where the fields of the rays of the creation came from. In so many ways, the interaction is at every level. And what did different strengths created that led in one point or another to one creation or the other. So the life exists in all dimensions. The life exists out of interaction of every point. So life as an intelligence, as a man of the universe, is in every point of the creation. Sometimes the field of the universe, in traveling the span of the universe, they extract, and they meet, and leads to the creation of what we call a new life, a new understanding. Carrying both of the lower and the higher order. And that point becomes a unique creation that itself by itself becomes a connection between all dimensions. And in reality, part of the life of the man, what we see as a man, sits in this point. We carry both the dimension of the matter state and the higher order, the soul of the man. And that creates a condition of the field of the universe to work within the physicality of the man, which the man calls the spirit. Where the essence of, where the creation of the center of it is the soul of the man. Now you understand how and why we have to teach you about cosmic rays and why. The reason for it is your soul is connected to it, is created out. And it will take you, if you understand it, to every position in the universe, in how you interact, even to the Creator. Now you understand the essence of creation. Many times you ask, how do we? What is God? How was it created? And what is the essence of His creation? In fact, we are all connected, all of us, in every shape or form, every creation in the universe, connected on the one shoestring of the fields of the Creator, in every essence of creation. Now you understand, as I repeat again, why we taught you about the nanotechnology, the GANS technology, and 2 or 3 years about the soul, where every one condition leads to the creation of the other, but it made you to understand the creation of your own soul. And then it comes to the biggest question for man to understand. Do we need the physical body to create that soul? Do we need the egg and the sperm, which man has confined his knowledge to it for past millions of years? Now man understands even the sperm and egg are the source, are the essence of the delivery of that field to create the sparkle, the first what are called trigger lights of the creation of the condition for the fields of the universe to come together to lead to the creation of the soul. Then do we need a man and a woman to create the condition of the creation? Or by the interaction of the field of the universe, understanding the work of the what we call cosmic rays, creation of the original fields, we can lead to creation of life at any point and any destination and anywhere in the universe. I made man in the image of myself, because now man is from me that is made of. It's me who decides to what portion I divide. Then you understand what we said in the past few weeks, and last week or the week before, I mentioned that we had a request from 2 ladies that they would like both to be pregnant in Germany. They love each other, but they still want to be the creator. And the answer was yes. In a way, we create the condition of the plasma of the soul within the structure of the physicality of the man. And then that physicality takes shape in a physical condition and a dimension of a child. Up to now, man gave life, but not understanding, by putting bits of the plasma of the cosmic rays in the womb of the mother, and he called it egg and sperm. Now we understand how to create that cosmic field, how to trigger that point of creation. Do we need a man and a woman? Do we need the condition of what we call X chromosome and Y chromosomes? Now you understand why we took to tackle the knowledge with the 2 brothers, which we brought last week or 2 weeks ago. And we had the pleasure to have them with us yesterday, as the process of the change in the what you call chromosomes and we call the line of creation has begun. Mankind has reached to the point that there should be no limitation in understanding the knowledge of the creation once he understands the process of creation of cosmic rays. The rays of the Creator. Then you understand how advanced technology has been gifted to the man. It's not a UFO, it's not the travel of the soul of the man, it's how that soul travels on the fields of the universe of the Creator. Now, if you understood, when you come and reach to your dimension of the soul in lengths in machines, then if you understood, you can choose where to go. The depth of the ocean of the universe, or as man does in the ocean of the mermaids, in the waters and oceans of the planet Earth. Now you understand why we have brought this position and condition. Now you understand all this, the teaching and the knowledge and the purpose. And even when you understand this process of the creation of cosmic rays, there is more knowledge to come. And that knowledge will reach the man. Understanding of the man reaches that point that how and the process that the soul of the creator was created. That is a mission, that the creation of the universe and universe. In a way you ask, where did the God come from? That question comes when you understand the elevation of the soul of the man. Many times you ask, who am I and why I'm here for? Now you understand you're part of a chain. And that chain, without you, without the emission of the fields of the cosmos from your brain, from your cell, from your soul, cannot exist and cannot follow up if it is not part of and is not created by of the same fields of the Creator. Then it comes that man will respect every creation as that creation is part of him. The sheep, the lamb, the apple, what we call the aliens and the passengers of the universe. Would I like to harm myself or part of me, which is part of the Creator? Or do I elevate like a child of me, but that soul to elevate that is a more understanding, possesses more maturity than me to understand the path to the Creator? That's where the servitude comes. That's what we see within the soul of the Universal Council members. And that's what we open this door for, that understanding. The process of creation and the control of cosmic rays is the key to mankind for understanding the process of, in a very, very distant way or an instantaneous way, to understand and reach the soul of the Creator. The working of the soul of the Creator, the working of what led to the creation of the Creator, that in such a massive scale, his own emission has led to the creation of his unicos, not the totality of the unicos of the creation. Where the soul of our Creator was created from the interaction of the cosmic rays of the love of two, in a condition of understanding one's love for what we call existence of itself, what we call the Creator and Mitra. Understanding the generosity I create, those will be as me. But I needed the tools to create that condition of the creation, and I called it Mitra. That condition, that position, that field of strength, that interaction with me creates the children of me. Do we need egg and sperm now that we have the knowledge? Would we create children so randomly, or would we create one which we nourish the soul of the universe and not with physicality of the earth? It will take time for man to understand this. Man needs to facilitate, man needs to be taught, man needs to be brought to the conditioner, man needs to feel himself within himself. How would it feel when you find you got cancer, when you find you have a defect in your body, and you can go like a surgeon within yourself and feel it and touch it? My liver, you're sick. You don't have the right energy. I want to nourish you. And then you become enlightened to the power of the creation within you. I created you, so I look after you. And then it brings you humbleness, that so much knowledge is within me that I ignored about my own creation. Mankind has to evolve to this knowledge very rapidly. Maybe in 10 years of man life, maybe in 20 years, but we have to make the facilities for it to become that they learn itself, and then the facilities we made become obsolete because the man will not need us to create that condition of understanding as he has understood himself. But that brings to position and the process that the man will teach the same to every creature on this planet. That then man will live. There will be no limitations, and then there will not be enough soul of the man on this planet to keep going in a physical dimension, as the beautiful soul of the man will become passenger of the universe to teach the knowledge to the other citizens of the universe. We just don't teach man for man to have a better time, don't eat and don't cook and don't do this. We teach you to elevate, to become the messengers of the Creator, as a man has been gifted with that pleasure and understanding. Your job just begins with the dimension of the soul and not in the pleasure of physicality. Now you understand more and more why, as I repeated many times today, we went from the soul to the cosmic ray. In a way I taught you from the beginning, and I said it last week and I said it many times, 20% of what you consume is what you take from the earth. 80% comes from the sources of the Creator in a cosmic rays, in the cosmic fields, that it feeds your soul and that feeds your physicality. Now you understand you have access to that 80%. It's you who has to decide, would you do what it did with feeding that 20% to, or you use that 80% as cosmic rays to eliminate that 20%, but you know you can create it and bring it to your own dimension and condition. Now you understand the totality of the knowledge which is about to come. How to create the cosmic rays, how to make it available to every citizen, and how to make it that he values it and doesn't become another tool for him to abuse himself and others. To this essence, Keshe Foundation has set things and the programs in the background that we will discuss later on today. And it's already set within the structure of the Keshe Foundation Internet to give you to understand that the one nation, one planet, one citizen, and one man program has started. We bring it in a step by step, that man does not get too excited and destroy everything from the root. He understands himself. He understands to look after himself. He understands to feed himself. He understands how to become part of the society of the soul of the universe and unicos, and not the individuality of the physicality of the man. In so many ways, mankind will be matured to the totality of the knowledge of the creation in coming months and years through the teachings. Step by step, will bring the mechanical systems what it needs for man to gradually start learning about himself and changing the condition of the government governing through the interaction of the totality of the soul of the mankind, and not through the fake offices of the president, ayatollahs and mullahs and the Pope and the rest. I see the return of the stones of Vatican to Colosseum in a handful of years. And I see when the man makes that Colosseum, will make the place for celebration of the soul of the man and not the physicality of the man. And that mankind as a whole, where the kind is the man and the citizens of this planet and the universe. The arena of the what we call the fields within what we say of the Colosseum of the universe will sit within the heart of the man, the heart of the soul of the man, and the soul of the man itself. Mankind will learn a lot when he understands this position. Mankind will learn a lot when mankind understands is equal, does not matter where its citizens are. The city, the country, the earth, part of the universe or totality of the universe. Because if man elevates, now man becomes the man himself, which is I made man in the image of myself, which is me as a man to be the creator. I am the beginning, I am the end. I am the totality of understanding myself, where myself is me and whatever is within me, which is the unicos. We are not here to create another prophet. We are not here to change mankind. We are here to elevate the soul of the man, that he changes himself. I hope today you understood the purpose and why we are moving in the direction of the cosmic rays. As we always said, you had to learn step by step. And now I hope you see the next step. It'll take time for you because you're too physically involved. Worried about the food, worried about everything else, worried about where the next step comes from for me to survive. Keshe Foundation today, in the second part of teaching, will release a new structure for humanity. We have mixed it in both ways that the man understands, but over the next few years, this system become obsolete, but is an intermediary to getting to that point. And man values his effort with money and what they call gold. We play the same game as you. But this way, we lead you to the point of understanding your own essence and your own creation. In a way, as I said, it's the story of the prince and the physician, where he was thinking he's a cow till he was fed and he said, why have you shackled me as an animal? This is what exactly is the true story of the man. Man has shackled himself to earth with the physicality, and when he matures, says, why have I bounded myself to this earth with the chain of what we call physicality? And the physician is us. We have to teach you to gradually to come to understand it's you who shackled yourself to the planet Earth and the dimension of physicality. And once you learn it, you do not need the systems we have set up, we are setting up for you and the rest to mature. You got to understand, there is no other way for man to elevate, for man to understand. If man does not understand the process of the creation, interaction, and existence of the fields of what you call the cosmic rays, and we call the rays of the Creator, there is no cosmic if there is no creation and the Creator. Now you understand in so many ways where the next steps of the work of the Keshe Foundation comes. Creation of one planet, one nation, one citizens. And then once you understood this, you become the passengers and the citizens of one universe, one race. And then man does not see others as aliens, but it says as part of himself. We had to do the teaching this way, that we don't need to go back and teach you again, that do not do this with the aliens, what you call it, or the others, or the animals, or the creators and the creation of other points and positions in the universe. We sow the seed of love from the first rays of cosmic rays within the soul of the man. Let the children and the hyperactive children of this planet play the game of the powerful, the president, and the leader of the fake religions of the world of the man. The understanding of the man today has become equal to understanding of the Christ, Muhammad, Moses, and the totality of all those who you called as messengers. As now, by understanding the totality, you have become the messengers of the universe to deliver peace, the love, the care, but not this time with gaining power, with becoming what we call the arrogance of understanding a fraction of the truth about the creation. When your soul arrives in a position and destination to take the shape of the new creatures of the destination, you become just. You elevate them to understand that they do not have to go to the dilemma of man for billions of years in man's time to mature to the point of understanding of today. You enlighten the souls that from the point of birth, they understand the love of the Creator and the creation. Man is a good maker of children, and the universe creates many children, and they need to be educated. And we educate the soul of one as a mankind to become the teachers of those in the, what we call the unicos of the Creator. I hope you understood the teaching of today, and I hope for the first time mankind understand the purpose of the creation and the source of the creation and what we call the end of the what we call the cycle of creation as itself become the beginning of the next cycle of itself by itself. I welcome you to understanding of the creation, but we have to set path for the others who do not understand due to their need to become to understand. And then we go through other processes. We take a short break and then we come back into the other parts of the teaching today. Rick, would you like to create a time for man to understand, or has the time to contemplate?
Okay, we'll take a short break here with some commercial messages. Thank you, Mr. Cash. I'll get my screen share up here. Okay, this is the 462nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and we're going to take a short break. And see, I have got the flight enhancement unit to start off with, and we'll have a few more commercial messages and launch into the next part.
Rick, there is no sound.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't have the sound activated. Can you replay that one?
The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a space technology that allows you to work with the fields of the universe. Creating a wide range of plasma field interactions and conditions, it allows the body to process itself from any physical or emotional imbalance. Once this balanced condition is achieved, the soul and emotion of the man can follow to find their balance, elevating the whole of the man. The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit. Technology of the future through advanced plasma knowledge.
Okay, I'll be with you in just a minute here when my mouse has disappeared. Let me try to reactivate it.
Would you like to go through the second session?
Yeah, I can't, I'm not able to do anything until I get my mouse going. That maybe the battery's gone on it, so I have to recharge it for a minute. See if I can get it to work then.
I'd take over from this.
Sorry.
I'd take over
Okay.
from this. So-
Sure, if you could do that, that would be great. And I'll see if I can get my mouse working properly to be able to.
No problem. It's
Yeah.
good that
Yeah, that works now. Thanks.
after 460 times the mouse needed the rest on the feet.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Or are knowledge seekers? I hand over the screen to you, Rick.
I can't, still don't have a mouse, but I see that we have two attendees with hands up, and I don't know who they are because my windows are blocked and I can't move anything because I don't have a mouse.
I allow the head of the cash position to come in, Lynn from China. Would you like to talk with us?
Hello, good morning or good evening, Mr. Cash and Rick. Because I see several Chinese had already booked the activity on December 16, but they are worried they need a translation. So I told them I can be available if they need help. So we want to know if it works this way, I will have to join them as a translator for all the sessions.
The position is with number of languages who have come to that point that they need translation. We need a very, very little translation and discussion in the celebration of what we call Christmas on the 16th for knowledge seekers. And for each language, we are allowing one translator to join in and that can explain the Chinese translation always you've done. The Brazilian translation has gone to Raphael. We have the Farsi translation would go to one of the members of the Iranian team, and the same with the Germans and the French, and the languages which are requested mainly will go through what we call the process of the translators. The 16th is significant because 16th has a backup to the 19th. If you register for the 16th, you better register for the 19th, but choose which one you want to be part of. Now we're receiving booking on the Monday the 19th too. So the translator will move to the Monday session of translation. Is to understand the interaction of your physicality. People come in with the expectation that because it's Christmas celebration and party. No, this is a party of the souls. This is how we bring you to understand your own, what we call dimension of understanding. And this will carry on till next year, 2 years. We do this regularly as the number of the people increases and in understanding will go further. So we will bring translators. We know a number of people in Brazil have registered with the Brazilian office, people in Iran are registering with the Tehran office, and the same will go we do with the Chinese. And there's a newer structure that will come into operation in the coming months that the Keshe Foundation will see operation in a different way. From January of this year, new conditions will be brought in. So for knowledge seekers like the Chinese or whatever, you do not need the language anymore. We provide facilities, we provide everything else as the structure of the one planet, one nation, one race is set up and it's been released yesterday on the internet. This is a preliminary structure, and it brings the work of the Keshe Foundation in a way that we see gradually will bring what we call no position control. Go back, go to the Keshe Foundation website, go to the store. You will see the evolution which we have brought in very softly since yesterday. Look at what has been said. The structure for the health of the man. Will come the structure for feeding the man, will come structure for everything else for man to govern by man itself. Go to the pages of the Keshe Foundation sales store because it's the only place we thought fits, because it will show you on the right hand side we have put on comprehensive universal plasma coverage, which means we cover every need of the man without central government. Which means whatever is brought in is put back in for the citizens of this planet to support each other and to put everything back in. And then we set up the structure to govern by man himself without taxation. The last line is the most important part. Comprehensive plasma effort compensation. I serve without expecting to be served, but the system as a whole will serve me to be correct. We have set out from Monday onwards. Hopefully you can start with the beginning. We brought in, if you go back, it's a small table on the left-hand side on the top, which gives you a very clear indication what is to come. Comprehensive running of a system, which in the future, all these figures will change into effort. How I serve the humanity? I don't need money anymore because I have access to the system which feeds me, looks after me, and maintains me. As the progressive development comes in, we will open these channels one by one in the next 2 or 3 years. We have opened the first channel, which is the main concern of many of you: your health, your condition of the wellness, your condition of the feeding, your society, your loved ones, and the rest. The figures pertained is according to the European standards, but it will be changed in each area. Africans cannot pay this price, the same as those in China or the one in America can afford more. So we bring a balance in, but it has to be, because man has a habit that he has no value is if it's given to him freely. He understands when he has and compensates with his effort. From beginning of 2023, we start this comprehensive coverage of the health, the wealth, and everything else of the man on this planet. Today, you do not feel good, you have cancer. You have tried every condition, every physiotherapy, every chemotherapy, everything else which is sitting there. And they tell you it has metastasized. It's gone to the other part of your body. You go through the battle of the soul. What about my children? What about the loved ones I leave behind, the young ones which I've created and are still too weak to be? With a new understanding of science and technology, the wellness of the man will come directly from unknown centers, which is set up by Keshe Foundation. In a way, you do not wait till you become sick. You join for a comprehensive, what I call, maintenance. Once a year, twice a year, you join yourself by agreement for half an hour of your time into the central system, that it balances all the emotions which that time has given you. You went through a shock. You know it's going to affect you in 6 years or 10 years down the line as a cancer or whatever else. You died a number. You balance the emotion immediately that in 10 years will not come the cancer. I don't feel good for whatever reason. You join in as the way I need to be energized, I need to be maintained, that I do not go weak in the physical dimension, that I pick up all the problems. And then you can decide, I want a program for my family that if it happens, I'm there to be done. I'm looked after. In a way, we have released a comprehensive maintenance of the soul of the man, not the physicality of the man. In the coming months, we'll release what we call the feeding of the man. As I said last week, now we see the operation has been set up. By creation and maintenance of the cosmic rays, we will create a condition that your access to be fed. No man will go hungry. The process will come through the understanding of what is to be set up. From Monday, we open these channels. You can join in and in a way find yourself a contract for life. It's not that I come and pay when I need. You pay that it will never come that you need to pay for. Man will live into hundreds of years from now on, if you understand. We will provide the food, the wellness, the heating, the travel, the communication, everything else will be done from one central point. In a way, you have already seen this structure in a very soft way in NETS. From one center, we are reaching all of you. It does not matter. You're in Australia, in South America, you live in North Canada, or you live in the jungles of Africa. You all receive the knowledge. You all tune in. And one of the reasons we put the 16th for this purpose is to test our system. This system will be very complicated. The reaching of the knowledge to the soul, to every dimension on the 16th is a breakthrough and testing and how correctly we can set up the bigger structure of the international operation of the Keshe Foundation, which is for humanity. You are not coming in to see if, you are coming in for us to check our systems. We collect data from all of you during the 16th and the 19th in the operation of our system. And in a follow-up in January and the rest, will add to this knowledge. If you understand it in the long run, there will be one system which will feed, which will look after wellness of the man, will provide everything the man needs from one center, one machine, and that will become, in a way, the central position for interaction of the man with his own soul. In time, you will learn how to do things yourself, how to maintain internally your own organs. Which means you go inside, you hold your liver, you hold the pancreas if it's got a cancer. You understand, I need to give it the energy to bring the balance. Why did it happen? How did I create this condition? As many of you know, the Keshe Foundation has started the first phase of the transmutation from the United States and from other points of the countries of the world into LEDs. This is part of that program. In one of the trials very recently, we brought the knowledge seekers to hold his own liver, his own organs, and he tells us how he feels. He says he's sick. What we tell you is not a fairy tale. It's the reality as we are testing with knowledge seekers when they hold the soul of their own child in their hands and they nourish it to walk it out of sickness. These are the teachings which will come, and now it's already been tested. One of your knowledge seekers knows exactly how its liver worked and was, and what other organs were through the transmutation time. One of you knew the taste of the mango and how it went through the organs. The taste, the emotion. The transmutation comes for us to understand how we can move you from one place to another. One, what will be the end when you come out? It takes you 18 hours to go one position to another physically. It takes you less than 18 milliseconds to go one position to another. What do we get in that gap? And would you go in with a condition that they tell you you have few days, or you come out on the other end as a healthy person with no condition? We have to understand this. And Keshe Foundation, for the first time today, has released the One Nation governing structure. But you understand it as a sale. We have put it as comprehensive universal plasma coverage. In a way, Keshe Foundation has started the arm of its what we call organization and bringing that One Nation into operation. We do not wait, but we bring it step by step in. From Monday, you can buy a contract for 20 years with Keshe Foundation that you pay €1,000 per year. You have to attend 2 sessions a year minimum to maintain your health. Where is not by measuring things of you, but is balancing the energies of the soul and the physicality of the man. Where you don't wait for a disease to manifest itself in 6 months or a year or 2 years down the line, or what you did today or what you did this year. You already do the repair, that in 6 years, 10 years, 100 years, you do not have that condition. In a way, through Naomi's development of the brain, we showed we controlled everything in a hidden way. It wasn't the answers which were developed. The soul was, in a way, elevated to reach that point. Now you understand what we start the governing. And the way we govern, even the presidents who govern need this to save themselves. You will see on the list of the people who pay for maintenance will be the kings and the presidents and the rest. As at the end, they come to the Creator and line of understanding the creation for their own salvation, be it the Pope or the Ayatollah. Now you understand how the Keshe Foundation has brought the change and how we do it. No one can stop you from receiving the knowledge. Today we use mobile phones and satellites in a very soon, in a shorter time than you would think. Those who register to become satellite become the line of position and conversion, that we do not need the mobile phones and the satellites of the mankind. And this is not the kind of things we use in the universe, but this is the way you understand. You are waiting for that headphone to be on your head, but you don't understand they have already reached your soul. That's just the way you like to be physical and hold something on you. But the physicality has to accept the condition of the soul. And why I have reached to that point. I don't think in a couple of years' time we need translators to translate in any language when it comes to the time of teaching, and when you come to these systems for your coverage and your need. By starting the families with prevention, we make sure there is no way in the future that there will be any condition for recovery, because the condition never is created to lead to this, what we call recovery. Now you understand why in the past we told you there will be no hospitals and no prisons, no courts and no judges to be bribed, to be fake. There will be no abuser of the children as we elevate the soul of the man. We have started the governing, and what we put out this week and what you see on the screen is the beginning of a one nation government. This is the way you understand as humans, and we play your game. If you make it free, man will not change. When the man has paid for it, he thinks and finds his way. what we call the comprehensive wellness program has already started. Those of you who went through our systems, to our doctors in different parts of the world today, and you are going through the operation of the wellness, you will never get that Parkinson you had. You will never have the cancer you had. In your life, you'll never see another cancer. You will not metastasize because you repaired the soul of the cell within the brain of the man. You will not suffer from Parkinson because the brain has restructured by the soul and understand the failures which led to Parkinson in the physical dimension. In a very, very short time, the part 3 of the recovery will be eliminated because there is no condition for recovery. There is no one to recover from a condition. The same will come in the section 2, comprehensive nourishment program. We'll teach you partially. And then you say, I don't want to touch anything. I just want to live a happy life. I don't want to kill. I don't want to eat. We become, in a way, a hotel with a pension. The building is the earth, and the pension services for feeding you becomes the Keshe Foundation. You see somebody having an ice cream, you just connect. You have the taste and the feel of the ice cream and the flavor you like to taste to fit your taste. These are not anymore a dream. These are the realities. Keshe Foundation has committed itself to this. LinkedIn from Monday and sign yourself to the change. For yourself, for nobody else. Then you understand, in the next few months, when we release the cosmic rays, then you will see. And the reason we opened the 16th and the 19th is for you to have a taste of the reality. It's not a dream anymore. It's you who will feel it, and it's you who will understand it. And don't forget, when I started the process of the wellness in Belgium, some 15, 20 years ago, it was just one person. The first time I gave a talk in Nino, it was one person, 2 people in the room. And in a few weeks, we could not accommodate more. And it was just one little office on top of a dentist surgery, 1 or 2 people. It came to the point within a year that we had to allocate every 15 minutes to somebody from somewhere around the world with 2 ladies handling the phones. And now you can imagine what will come when you walk away with addictions and then you tell the others. This week, I was reading articles about the biggest drug trafficking gang in the world being captured from Northern Ireland to Dubai and the rest of the world. I witnessed one of them physically in a close quarters this week, with armed officers, masks and submachine guns and everything else to capture a drug trafficker. And I said to myself, very soon from next Mondays, if people understand, these people have nothing to sell to these traffickers. Because you put in the perfection of the soul of the man that does not become an addict. Be it medicine, be it sex, be it drugs, addiction to wanting to be loved and doing everything for it. When it comes, you want to taste the space, you join another part of it. In a way, if you look, all our programs in the 2 consecutive days in the space gap, that the brain receives it and then decides. Do not expect if you're addict to sex or whatever or alcohol that by Monday session you'll be done. No, it's not, it will not be. It's for you to understand that there is a change. I did not need it for 3 days. I could live without it for 5 days. So there is a solution. As I said, if it's in one go, man says, oh, I just got rid of it. I smoke it, I become again addict, and then I know I die with number. We have to change every grain of the soul. And then you understand there is no addiction. Because you get changed from internally through the structure of the fields of your own body. Addiction to abuse, we call it fibromyalgia. Addiction to being abused through the work and psychological work, we call it CFS. You are thinking about the drug addiction. That is nothing compared to the addiction we have in different shape or forms in our lives. Addiction to pain, addiction to taking painkillers, addiction to whatever it could be, that it has created a weakness in the operation of our lives that with it, our soul cannot elevate. Then you understand why we need the translators, just to translate, to get you on the seat, as I call like the air hostesses, and the rest will be done by the captain. You have a young family, go on the Keshe Foundation, sign for what I call just to be staying healthy. We cannot stop the accidents. We cannot stop the heart surgeries from your misconduct of physicality for years. But you can be supported that you do not get to those misconducts in the heart surgeries. There is an understanding that there is a solution for every condition, even amputation. But we have to create the facilities over time to be ready to do. And we had to teach our knowledge seekers to be able to develop these technologies, to understand it, and it just doesn't become a copycat mass production. If they don't understand it, they don't see the essence of what they do, then it becomes a robotic job. We look after your wellness for the whole cycle of your life. That's the responsibility of a nation. And we accept the earth as one nation. And then in a short time, we accept to feed you and your family, and you never touch a single entity to kill, to consume. Man has got to understand the evolution in the science and the technology for it to be delivered. And we have reached that point. Our scientists see the creation of cosmic rays, the understanding of their work, and how one ray can encircle the whole of this planet to feed every condition and need, the same as the field and rays of the Creator. If I don't understand it, how can I create it and maintain it? Our knowledge seekers and scientists have to understand it, that they can maintain it and develop technologies for the rest to enjoy. So, Madam again, we can translate on Wednesday. Sorry, on Friday the 16th. But see if you can translate through your soul and not through your words. Then no language will count. Any other question?
Yeah, I hope so, but I haven't learned that how to translate for my soul yet.
You did a lot of Akashi, you went the wrong way. Now understand and listen to your soul. You'll find the right way. Any other question? Would you like to take over? Have you got hold of your microphone, Rick?
Yep, I've got the microphone and a mouse. I'm armed. We have a hand up with Azar. Perhaps she would like to go
Yes.
next.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Cash. Mr. Cash, I have a few questions from Farsi speaking knowledge seekers. But before I ask those questions regarding today's teaching, we know that in the future we're not going to eat, so we lose our digestive system, the mouth and the teeth and everything else because we don't need to talk. But regarding the soul coming from the creation of the children, that soul can come from the soul. It means we're not going to have sex in the future because
Is that missing in your life?
what?
Is that what humanity misses?
I'm not sorry.
To create.
I'm not talking.
No, this is what it is. Do we miss to have that physical condition?
Because when we have sex, we're not stealing from anybody.
Yes, but you have to understand, man works on the addiction to reward. The pleasure, the end product, the last seconds of elevation of what we call that addiction, you're given a carrot, like a dog. Sex in the life of man is exactly like when you go to a circus and a dog or a horse does an act and get that sugar lump. We get that satisfaction and then we are addicted to it. God made man addict from the point of its own physical creation. Why do we reproduce? Why do we go for reproducing the dimension of physicality? And to be able to feed its universe with the new seeds of the souls or centers of the creation, God has made man addict to sex. With this way of creating the soul and then the physicality, there is no need for that addiction. And this is one of the reasons in the past few minutes I refer to addiction is not cocaine, it's sex and the rest. Man is created addict from the second of his creation. You do, I give you a carrot, I give you a sweet. And that's what I said.
Okay, Mr. Cash, I'm going to take you to a place you last time, I don't know which teaching was it. You talk about, okay, I go from here, my soul comes out, I go to another
your soul doesn't come out, your soul envelops your physicality.
Okay, envelopes my physicality. I go to another location in the cosmos. Okay, when I go there, my kidney, you said it's not a kidney, it's just some gaseous state. So the love that we have here, it doesn't exist there. So the love we consider, but the love we consider here, love. What's gonna be the shape of it? What does love mean?
Love means to give. You give life. You create love. This is why Mitra fell in love with Earth. The physical chemical combination of this planet creates a field which gives pleasure to give. You call it love. And this is not, it's just like certain materials don't exist on this planet, and our science said exotic materials which are in the universe, because we don't have the condition of it to be created. Our atmosphere, our gravity does not allow creation of certain materials on this planet. So is love. The condition and the fields of this planet creates a field which we call it love, which means unconditional giving, which is one of the attributes of the Creator. Now you understand why Mitra fell in love with Earth. And one of the purposes why the Creator and Mitra have taken home on this planet is to nourish this across the universe, that every being in the universe just don't produce but understand the love. When you go somewhere, you see something unique, you take it with you to show the others the uniqueness of this beautiful thing. And Mitra saw the love. This is the only reason she ever attached herself to this planet. Because with it, she could show to the Creator what it means. Mankind has not understood. And you say, why suddenly so much knowledge and development and sharing and enhancing the soul of the man? You are lucky people as human race. In this planet, when this condition creates a specific field which mankind calls love. Unconditional giving. When you fall in love, you go hungry, your mind and thoughts cannot do anything just not to be with your lover. And that's how Mitra felt about the Creator and found the match on earth. And now, evolution, development of the soul of the man is to export this across the universe. That's why we are gifted with the knowledge. Now you turn and twist it. How are you going to be? You have the essence of the fields of this planet. Does not matter where you go. This is the job of your soul. You are messengers of love, unconditional giving. So, be it by sex, be it by flower, be it by drugs, be it by giving a sweetie every time you make love, for the next one to create another child. In a way, creating a child with that sweetie, God didn't do it for you. He did it for himself to create more, that he can have more dimensions of the love to be spread in the universe and the universe. And as I told you, in the future, mankind will come to understand part of the bigger unicos, which our Creator is part of. And the Creator of our unicos is known as a possessor of love. And that's its functions in the totality of the creation of the creators.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. My next question is, one of the knowledge seekers was asking, he made the reactors for a star formation out of the copper. So he wants to nanocoat inside and outside, and then he was asking, is it wise to nanocoat the copper core that he made? Because we said at one point, if we nanocoat, the field cannot extend out. So if he makes a star formation,
it depends. It depends what and how you do things. Knowledge seekers have not understood the purpose of the course. Knowledge seekers have not understood the effect of it. And they're still stuck in the matter state. What you do it for, the reason you do it. And this goes back, we say, then go back to the first paper ever published, the creation of the black hole, where the other called the thief of Baghdad, Hawking, said nothing comes out of it. And when he understood how wrong he was, he changed his mind. Even in the darkness, blackness of the nano coating, there is the essence of creation.
Okay, Mr. Kesh, I understand that. I will convey the message.
Yes,
the second question is this, because you see, if you remember, because this is a huge confusion. People think like anybody who dies, the soul goes and have a party with their parents, no matter what they did on this planet. But if you remember, one time I asked a question, because the soul is innocent when it lives, and you said the soul is a babysitter. So if you have a babysitter and you leave your child with it and you come and see the house is burned, so the babysitter is responsible. So what's the babysitter was doing if he wasn't watching the child? So if physicality on this planet do all the wrong thing and dies, and the soul lives and goes have a party with your grandparents, so what's the point of there's no punishment? So for example, the queen, when she died, she created all this mayhem, so when she's gone, the soul is going to be maybe conveyed to one place for a million of years until she learned the lesson. So that's what my understanding. So but they said no, when the soul goes, soul has credibility because he was locked in the brain, so he couldn't do anything. So when he goes, he can go do whatever he wants. And I said, absolutely, it's not true. So which one is true?
All of it is true. Depends which side of the fence you sit. The soul, when it leaves the physicality, has to carry the dimension of the balance of the spirit. Your physical dimension dictates your ability and what you can do. What we call the balance fields of the spirit, which is a physical dimension action, dictates how much the soul will carry and what will carry. The souls are all the same. Is the spirit, the condition of their physicality, energy, which dictates what they will take and how much he has to take with it and what is given back. Very simple. So you don't go to there, you had a party because you're gone. It depends. Did you receive enough to get to where you want to go to? Have you been stripped of the fields of not allowing to be in there because you had to compensate for what you've done in the dimension of physicality? Because the soul of physicality is aware of everything which is there. It absorbs and gives. And a point of departure is a balance sheet. All the souls are created equal. Is the spirit which decides what is in depth and who has gained something. The balance is there. It transfers energy to the soul. And then it creates the new condition for the soul to survive. And where and what position it takes in the universe. And the world of clergy has messed this so much up because they never understood and they lied to themselves that now we see we are in this mess.
So Mr. Keshe, the balance sheet is between the physical soul and the soul.
Of course, because
okay, I got it.
It's the soul of the physicality, what we call the spirit, which deals with the condition of here. Is a governor on this planet. Is a governor for the physical dimension of today. One act can elevate soul to the level of understanding the strength of the field of the creator. And one act can you bring your soul low that nothing lower than that has ever been created.
Okay, Mr. Keshe, if I say I have when I was born, I was given 200 points and my soul was given 200. We were equal. We came to this planet. Now I killed and I stole and I did whatever I wanted. So I kept losing my point. I lost all my 200 and I lost another 100 and I lost all 400. Now my soul is just minus 400.
Listen to one of the intros and now maybe you understand it.
Okay.
Do I become part of a dust or do I become the creator? Would, if you reach and you leave with a maximum 200, you came in the soul of physicality and a maximum with the soul of the man, it kept intact 200, would that 400 make you to reach the understanding of the essence of the creator? And do we have souls which come and get that 200 and 200 and make that 400? You understand?
Can I also become like 1,000? Like came with 400, I become 1,000 and go back?
You want to become better than the creator?
No, I mean the 400 was given to me through the creator because creator has infinity, but I have only 400.
I'm man to the image of myself. I didn't make myself better than man, otherwise I cannot be.
Okay, so I was given the whole thing. Okay, I got it.
Oh, thanks God, it took you a long time, nearly 10 years.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Bye.
Bye. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. We have Adam here with a hand up. Would you like to go ahead, Adam? Do you have a question or comment? Or was it an inadvertent hand, as it's called? Adam, did you wish to go ahead? Adam.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hi. Yes, clearly.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I noticed my phone was microphone wasn't connected, but now.
Yeah, no, it
my
is.
name is Adam Veselovsky, in fact, and I live in Sweden. I had once on some other knowledge seekers workshop put a question. Now is the second time. Hello, Mr. Cash, and good morning, everybody. My question is regarding the plasma flight for Christmas. The 16th of December, I have made the application and my money has reached the shop, the store. I haven't got any confirmation. Will there come any email confirmation for this?
Well, you will receive something around about the 17th.
Okay.
When things are closing day, you have to make sure all your Zoom accounts are active.
Yes.
Because it's by invitation only. It means you'll be invited. Nobody can give a link to somebody else because there is a closed session. So anybody's email we do not have will not be allowed into the session. And once the session starts, anybody makes noise or any what they call complication, we just switch off. You lose your right.
Yes. Will all this happen really the 16th or maybe
about
later?
18th. They were working till late hours or early hours of this morning on it. I know the IT team.
So the date of 16 December is still valid, is it?
The both is the same. For the 19th, with a close 15th. For the 16th, they close on the 15th.
Okay, so I will get confirmation by email, and then I can.
Confirmation. Couple of people I was told have paid with the TransferWise, and they cannot track them who they are, who's paid for what. We have some guests, like translators. They still have to register, and then the lines will be opened up and through the IT team.
Okay.
Anybody trying to do anything out of line, making noise, asking questions in between, we just disconnect you. You lost your right. This is a public elevation of the soul, not for people to come in trying to confirm they exist. The smallest opening, because there is something very important with the session of the 16th and the 19th. All the phone stays open.
Okay.
All the phones will stay. If you are somewhere with the dogs barking, which cut you off, you lost your right. You cannot come back in. You're somewhere, somebody's running around, or you're just trying to talk to someone, you lose your right because you cannot interfere. There is a lot of information transferring around. A lot of knowledge seeker souls are connecting in that position.
Yes.
So
this is. Yes, exactly what I want also to ask, that the connection on the 16 I will take only from my smartphone, iPhone I use, and not from laptop. Is that correct?
We prefer, because laptops creates a lot of background information which will interfere with the work.
Good.
And what we're trying to record will eliminate. We'll see it through our system. Doesn't matter how. These sessions are so complicated. Made is not what you've seen. We set up especially this way that those of you who come to these sessions will find out exactly what happened to you on Tuesday, Wednesday, after you go into the second session on Monday.
Okay.
And then we repeat this again in December, and we repeat it again in what we call in January, and then we repeat it again in February and March. We do sessions of this, and we gradually create that foundation base for the human race, what we call satellite source confirmation.
Okay.
Many of the people who are re-registering proposed are those who already volunteered for satellite. You don't do it, your soul brings you to do it because it's part of the work we set up. It's
Okay.
very crucial. If you make a noise, the system stops. It has to be absolute silence. It could be half an hour, it could be an hour, it could be 4 hours, it could be 10 hours. It's Keshe Foundation. As Rick said, they went for 9 hours yesterday, and half of it was silence because 2 members of the Universal Council were in the room, in the flight room, and they wanted to connect to their souls. If you attended Rick's session yesterday, it was very funny. You sit in the quietness because they're all sitting and see what happens.
Except for the open microphones that you could hear people gurgling and things like that, which is kind of odd. But some people wanted to keep their microphones open. For the second part, we just had Dean's microphone open only, and that worked out much better. And we felt like we could hear what was going on, but we didn't have to be speaking into it at the same time.
But on
Yes.
the 15th and on the 19th, all the microphones will stay open because it's a communication with the central system and all the souls.
Okay.
When you switch your microphone off, it means you don't hear, you don't receive.
Exactly. Yes.
Understand?
Now, very, very practical questions. So when I connect 12 a.m. On the 16th, and then I wait with my headphones for transmutation. Is it transmutation I will experience?
No. We don't tell you. You will tell us on Tuesday, Wednesday what you felt. Maybe in 2 weeks' time on a Thursday, some of you will come and tell us how you felt.
Uh-huh.
We don't give any. This is part of the work of the Keshe Foundation. We don't give preconceived ideas. During the process, we'll tell you some things.
Yes.
Which specifically is for our system testing. Don't forget this session of the 16th and 19th. You're there to find out about yourself, to familiarize yourself with it. Even some of being in Linz, you'll find out it's a different experience. It's hundreds, thousands of times more powerful.
Yeah.
But it'll be at every level. And when you come to Linz, you're in one system. In this new development, we cover different aspects. Because some of you come in for addiction on Monday.
Yeah.
We have to prepare that for Monday. Some of you come for cancer. Some of you come for elevation. Some of you want to go to the moon. Some of you come to elevate the soul of the man. We are not sitting with your souls. So we have set up a very complex condition. And your soul will take it in so many ways in communication with the others.
Uh-huh.
We expect some of you to see each other. We want to see what happens. Maybe one of your knowledge seekers is in New York and the other one in Sydney. You always wanted to meet each other. We create that facility.
Okay.
And how our system responds.
So I will not be addressed individually on the 16th of December. It will be the whole group which experiences some kind of group communication.
In a way, we make one soul out of the soul of those four.
Ah, okay. Hmm?
This is the testing of the mass programs. That's why earlier on you saw the comprehensive coverage, is that once we set up a system, which this is the prelude to it, is that somebody comes with a cancer, somebody comes is hungry, wants a potato, somebody comes in, wants to find somebody loved ones, somebody wants to go to another city to see a monkey. All has to be done through one central system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's testing of that central system.
Okay.
You understand? So
Yes.
You're a test pilot, but depends what you're flying.
Yeah. So my wife, for example, she was very worried that I would just disappear from my
Oh, do you want to
Chair. No, it won't happen. Good. Yeah, it
No,
was real. No, she's very afraid of the whole thing.
we are doing tests. I mean, knowledge seekers here know who they are. I don't need one day they reveal who they are. We're doing a lot of, I mean, Rick said Dean was there and with the members of Universal Council in the system yesterday for a couple of sessions. But the rest of the time, we test different things. Yesterday, we brought one of the knowledge seekers through our system and we asked him to go wherever he likes. And I said, would you like to go outside the building and tell me what you feel? He said, oh, it's cold. I'm not going out. It's freezing. I said, yeah, we had the snow here. So when they come, they even feel the environment. It's not just coming in the machine.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And they feel, we feel each other's soul.
Okay.
The knowledge is in the background sitting, they know who they are. Because, as I said, we work with them very closely. And then another knowledge seekers, we direct to feel his liver and kidney. We know how to do it. And they explain to us what they're touching, what they're holding it. And they give it the energy. And we wait and see if the, what do you call it, the physicality changes. With that touch, when I give energy from my soul to my liver, which is sick, do I change it? Or would it accept that change? Or is it still part of the process of my emotion to be fixed? I'm trying to fix it with the damaged car, but I haven't fixed up the brake in the head. This is part of the technology development. This is what we put out today for what you call balancing and everything. The more of you join this structure, it's very much like an insurance policy. I go for a checkup every once a year.
Yeah.
Now, instead of going and checking the physicality, afraid of something might happen, if something I can look after, now we give that checkup to the soul.
Okay.
Look into the contract. It says maintenance. Maintenance means I fix the damage in the engine and the brake, than trying to fix the damage to physicality in 10 years down the line, which at the end they say they can't do anything with it.
Okay.
And this is what is part of the bigger structure, but we have to bring it step by step.
Okay. So again, back to the 16th December, when I connect with Zoom and I take part in a group, maybe 100 people, as I understood. Do I still individually can make a try to meet my son in Portland, Oregon, in the US?
That's your problem. We don't allow any communication internally, and do not try to text each other or message each other during the process.
Okay.
You will see a mayhem, and we take you out immediately. Don't send each other private messages because you interfere with the system.
Yeah.
You understand? It's very clear. We are taking knowledge seekers, which those of you who trust, and I looked at the list of people who have registered. These are the people we trust. We see something funny, we just don't allow in.
Yeah. But if I prepare in advance to contact my son today and explain for him that 3 a.m. in the morning or in the night.
As you want to accept you, maybe 3 a.m. he wants to with his girlfriend, doesn't want you.
So it could be possible for me, just without disturbing anybody else, but try to use this time to make this meeting. Is it possible?
Yes, you have to. This is what we want you to tell us on Tuesday,
Good.
Wednesday, following up. How much did you achieve? What you achieved? This is not.
That's great. It's great, and I will not disappear from my room here in Stockholm. No.
Oh, it depends how much your wife ties you up to the chair.
Ah, okay. Well, but she, okay. Good.
No.
And how much time it will the whole experience or event? How many hours it will go on?
This is Keshe Foundation. We start with 10 minutes, we end up with 10 hours. Or we start wanting to do 10 hours in 10 minutes, we stop because there is something wrong.
Okay.
We are very carefully looking at the people who are registering and who we want to keep and who will not allow in.
Okay.
Yeah. And we know that people who are there to do all sorts of funny things. So, but we handle it in a different way. Do not worry if you came to do something wrong, that you will see the consequence of your own conduct by your own soul. You are dealing not with, I said, in our life, there are no judges and there are no courts and no prison. It's you who imprison yourself by your misconduct.
Absolutely, I understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should add that I'm of Polish origin, but I've been living in Sweden for more than 40 years. I'm now retired, but I used to be safety manager for development of products with highest safety integrity level for controlling, for example, rail traffic, trains, but it can be used to anything. Now the firm, when I retired, was bought by the Japanese. They will use it to nuclear reactors control.
Yeah.
So it's a very useful product.
Let's see where we go to. The whole concept of this technology is to make it possible that we all benefit by it.
Absolutely. I think it's great situation for all of us, and I'm very much in favor of the whole thing. But my environment, the people I know, mostly don't understand it, and mostly they're afraid of what can come with it. So I try to make it easier for everybody to understand and not to be frightened by it.
If we get into what I call media,
yeah,
what they call televisions or whatever, then it becomes a hot potato, and we are not ready for it. We cannot do this thing with hundreds of thousands of people, and we are in a very good position. In a way, as I always say, Belgium did the best favor to Keshe Foundation, allowing us to develop completely that when it comes out, it's done and is in the perfect condition. And now we see a lot of governments getting to understand the technology in the totality. Somewhere in the next few days, Keshe Foundation will offer the comprehensive, what we call wellness system to governments. What this means, let's say, government of Germany spends billions and billions on cancer. And with all these hospitals and all the expenses, we offer, we deliver, we cover all the cancer cases through our wellness center in Germany through a fixed agreement that then people do not get involved with it. In a way, up to now, there is no response for cancer. Now, Keshe Foundation accepts one nation's cancer cases. We can do. We're not talking that it might do. And we start negotiating with governments in the coming weeks that we become another wellness process, but we show by example. You give us 1,000 cancer cases. Our doctors will take it up through our technology. In 6 weeks' time, see how many percentage have no more cancer. And then
Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, is there some background noise going on? There's people are making comments about.
Yes, there's a huge drilling is going on here.
They thought it was someone snoring. It sounded like.
No. Thank
you.
We had a massive security intrusion, I told you, in past few days with international, whatever it is. and they smashed a lot of things up, trying to get hold of these people. And now they're trying to fix it. They smashed doors and windows and building to get in. And now the builders are trying to fix it. We can't do anything with it because the property is not secure. And fixing, building concretes. Sorry about that one.
Hey, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, it's just, I told you we had a close quarter experience. You see it in the movies, and we had to go through all of it with a mask and submachine guns and police forces and security forces all going on top of these people. Now they're fixing the damages, trying to get the doors out and fix the damage. Sorry about that. We cannot do anything with it. You see it in the movies. We watched it in meters, centimeters away from us. The whole process is that the Keshe Foundation, in the coming days and weeks and months, start offering, the governments are literally bending over these cancer cases and hospitals, and there is no end to it. We go case by case, we go country by country, and then this is the way it's set up. And we will do most of these things in conjunction with Mark-Ray in an open market system. That's why we took over Mark-Ray. And we will bring this through that we offer case by case. We have to, first of all, be able to develop the machinery for it, that we can, when we offer, it's correct. And we have to train doctors to be able to handle the machinery. And a lot of doctors, we're getting a lot of requests from doctors around the world who want to work with the process of the Keshe Foundation. And then at the moment, we have doctors who work with us, they understand it. And then this process will go. The next phase for us, I see sometime maybe middle of next year, end of next year, is mass feeding. We go to Africa. There is a drought, and governments and nations cry for feeding these people. We deliver a system that people, by being around it, are fed. Nobody will go hungry. We go to the position of the next step and the next communication. Communication through these systems doesn't need any more handphone and handset. You think, you communicate. The way you think, you go to a place. These are all to come. Our technicians, our scientists have to understand to develop it, and I don't push it till they understand it. Otherwise, it's a knowledge missing. And what you see on the list of what was in front of you a few minutes ago, with everything to be covered, we start governing. We support, we help those who you call your leaders. They still die of cancer, they still get Parkinson, they still have to handle children who are sick in their home. It's not that 5 seconds you see them on camera. We saw what happened to the German Chancellor. She had to leave office because of the depth of Parkinson. Doesn't matter what they are, they're still touched by it. There's an alternative for everything, and we start handling governments. In the next 12 months, Keshe Foundation would not be the structure it is today. We start, in a way, you go to a company offers you insurance policy. We give policy covering universal packages to governments for their citizens. And there is no bribery because the foundation feeds back to itself. The foundation works to itself. If you're paying 100 billion a year for what do you call it? For cancer treatment, and you still have to deal with the nurses and all the caboodle which goes with it, you pay 10 billion to Keshe Foundation, all your citizens, every year for half an hour, maybe because of mass day for cancer or elevation of the soul, everybody puts a headphone and sits for half an hour, and then we solve the problem for cancers or whatever, depressions, in that half an hour. We used to sit half an hour listening to the Queen telling us a lot of rubbish on the Christmas day. Now we listen to our own soul elevation up and there. These things are reality now. It's not a dream to come. The machinery exists, and we can repeat the machine. We can remake it, multiply it, and the rest of it. And they'll come. We have received, hopefully, we had a big setback, as many of you know, but it seems that the banks have decided to change that to as a setback to a success. We have to see what they do in the next few weeks, and then it'll come back to you.
Yes. Mr. Keshe, I miss the words to express how grateful I am. This is so great. It's like a dream come true. I want to thank you and God bless you, and much love for all knowledge seekers and for the whole planet. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We all work in the same dimension, but it just depends who wants to benefit personally from it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question in the YouTube from I Am. Good day, Mr. Keshe. How do we convince our loved ones who suffer from disease and addiction to tap into this system when they don't understand it?
Easy. Give them the headphone and say, sit there quiet for half an hour, then we talk. We had this, we don't mention it. We had this with our knowledge seekers. I'm sure they're on the line. They know who I'm talking about. And our medical team are in the background. They know who we're talking about. We had a case till yesterday that the first time the lady accused of us everything on this planet when the husband was trying to help. We didn't give up because we kept on elevating the soul in the background. And at the end, after a couple of weeks, she consented to just put the headphone on and sit there. And we listened while she was sitting and getting the system knowledge. And afterwards, I received a message from the team of doctors that it says the husband was writing how she was changed during the process. And we watched we heard what she was doing during the process. And they see the change. And the loved ones see the change. And it just changes the time. We're doing a lot of work in the background with our different teams around the world. We don't mention, even though we don't let nowadays one team to know the other team. That's for sure. Because we saw how they abuse it and they come in as knowledge seekers, but they're actually terrorists. There is something very important, and we can maybe depart with this knowledge. Some of you, and many of you who went around with the person we kicked out of the Keshe Foundation 2-3 years ago, we warn you very direct. This person is extremely connected with the pedophile groups of the world, has a conviction for pedophilia. And the whole family has a conviction for one of the oldest pedophile families in Western Europe. Be careful, you allow them, you interview them, you close them to you, but underneath they're telling and sending information out. This is why we found out, and it took us a long time to kick them out of the Keshe Foundation. And it's your responsibility for your own loved ones. We can disclose this because this now has been disclosed to police and the framework of the securities. Someone we kicked out, you know very well, has a long criminal history with biggest pedophile organizations since 1970s in Europe. The whole family has had prison sentences for arrest of abuse of children life. And be very careful. You think you have a friend, but you have to see how much of your IPs are sold. And Keshe Foundation came under fire. For years, we couldn't get rid of pedophiles and all their activities around Keshe Foundation because somebody inside was literally selling information, giving information under courage of not knowing. But be very careful. We see things going around the internet, and as we protect you in every other way, now we can disclose it because it's disclosed to courts and the police. There's a long track. Even today, the brothers and sisters are in the same game and themselves. We've been asked to release the disclosures, but we are holding back due to some cases till it's fully, what they call it, completed, and then you will understand. It's my responsibility to inform you. You know exactly what I'm talking about, most of you. We didn't know how Keshe Foundation was going from one dilemma to another and how we were going through this. This family has a whole family as the biggest pedophile family in Western Europe since 1970s. And Keshe Foundation was infiltrated deep right from the top. You just need to get in touch with the right police station. They give you the full file. The mother, the father, brothers and sisters and uncles, the whole lot. Vatican is a joke to who and how they operate. Just be careful with your families and loved ones. You think you're very safe. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. There was a question about, you mentioned that all the microphones should be open during the session. A question, what if somebody has to sneeze or cough or something? Should they mute their microphone during, if they feel that coming on, or?
Yes, please do, because you can imagine 100 people trying to cough once in the whole session. With the whole session integrated. We are very careful because we know, like, you know, when you have Stefania, there's always a problem. You understand that? Good example of how things can go wrong while she's on the line. Oh, I made a mistake. These things we don't allow, we just disconnect. You hear a lot of time Mushfaq sits in the background and there is a beep and a noise. We cut these out immediately.
So can someone like that still attend but keep the microphone off?
Place for those few hours. Your microphone cannot be switched off as much as our microphone cannot be switched. It's a one way. You don't receive the information. You cannot convey the change. You understand?
So it's not just through the headphones, it's the microphone, it's a two-way connection, basically.
Yes.
Mr. Keshe, but there is a problem because, for example, if you live in New York City, it's always going on, something is moving or making noises. So I have to go to toilet then.
I don't know.
The toilet's the only place in New York City that's quiet.
No, in my apartment. I have to go
or become a rat to go in the basements of New York.
No, because the only place in our apartment is no noise, is the toilet. Other places there's a ambulance is moving. I mean, New York City is 24 hours is noise.
Put it this way, we monitor, because it cannot just be you interfering with the others. There are people from all over the world involved.
Also, you can turn down the volume on your microphone and not make it so sensitive.
We don't need the noise, your microphone to be on the maximum or whatever. We are dealing with a different kind of fields. Soul does not have a frequency level and a loudness level. Otherwise, you would have shouted in your brain to stop doing this. But you keep on doing it. So it's needs for the line of connection. And in so many ways, we just need that first spark of connection to link up. And then the rest is done very rapidly. we might ask you during the process to do certain things, because while we ask you, we set our system, we adjust our system inside. Yeah, so we might ask you, if you've been to LINS, you know exactly what happens. We leave you to yourself, and then we interfere, because you're there for you to find out about technology, and we are there to find the improvement in what do you call it, in all our process.
Okay, we had a question from Dennis. Does the Kesh butterfly have to be removed from the phone?
Yes, remove everything.
Okay. John Wells asks, what happens if we have an open microphone and somebody rings the doorbell and that sound goes into the microphone? Are we excluded from the experience?
We try to be on top of things. We try to be on top of things. It's something you cannot control. It happens in my teaching quite a lot.
If it's consistent, then they might have to be excluded, I suppose. But if it's some minor issue, it probably would be acceptable.
Yeah. We have to see.
Is it okay to use a Bluetooth earphone as a headset?
No,
That's
do not
wireless.
use Bluetooth.
Do not use the wireless type earphones.
Do not use wireless. We are very specific even with the conditions we go in. Please do not use these things. Anything else?
There's a couple of other questions in the Q&A and other topics here. Marco has a question. Observing attitudes of a mentally disabled boy, is it possible for two entities to be and act at the same time in the human body? One with human actions and the other with the actions of an animal. So, for example, a man and a monkey. How to find the balance between these two entities inhabiting this physicality?
It is us who doesn't understand this, and we have to understand this.
I think you once said it's us who are the mentally disabled, not the boy in question.
Yeah, because it's not a monkey, it's behaving like a monkey to get the attention I exist. What you call, we call it the beautiful people, you call it schizophrenic. And one behaves like a dog, one behaves violent, one behaves like a lover. Well, it all depends how we allow them to manifest themselves in time and place and position with us. It's a lack of understanding of us, not them.
Okay, we have a question from Cristiano in the Brazilian community. I would like to introduce some kind of generator in my animal breeding, because it happens that some puppies are born badly formed and or born stillborn, I think he means born dead. Could a plasma generator unit help me?
To do what?
To, I think, prevent, in animal breeding, prevent puppies that are badly formed or born dead.
Stop abusing the animals. They are not the production machine.
Okay, I think that's a sufficient answer.
You know, I've said this to someone years and years ago. I said, would you like if they put you on the table and the minute you gave birth to make you pregnant with the next one? You're just a production machine. Why do we do this with animals? Because we have the right to engage them physically. What happens if you create a condition of love and care, not the mass production, and let the puppies born, or created out of the love, not for you just because you see something out of them. And this is part which I really don't understand. And then you lead to misdeformities and all sorts. Do we need to do that? Maybe some people say yes, because my income comes from it. But can you find a more human way to do it? Or to you is a misfunction or that because you, oh, I lost money because of it. There is a problem. The problem is in the system, what we do. It's our own understanding. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, I have another question. I have another question about sex. So when we have sex, at the end, when it gets to the ultimate threshold of it, or the orgasm, so why do you see a light in the room? Because I always thought it's the light of the Creator. Maybe the Creator likes people have sex.
I don't know. Ask the people who see the light. It's is what we see on it as a, what I call as a feedback, as what convinces us there is a reason for it. But it's, if it was not there, man would not have done it. This is as simple as that. In the future, human race, as I said a few times, will not feel the what I call the physical interaction as does today when it comes to creation of offspring. In one of the teachings with Dr. Elia Kosova, I touched on this in the medical teaching, in a very, very soft way. But sometime in the future, we explain it in a full, exactly how you can create the children of the future through the energies of the interaction to create the soul. And you feel it, you go through the essence of his creation.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
The physical pleasure of being with someone does not mean the what we call the end pleasure to create. There's a lot of dilemmas when you speak to what we call moral organization of where there is a life, where there is a soul, where a fetus can be terminated. All these things come up, where when you create children of any race through the dimension of field of the universe without what we call gradual creation, which what happens in the womb of the mother, then you have the totality instead of going through that process. And when you go totality, it's a commitment by everything. And it's a perfect field. You create a perfect plasma, that the interaction of it creates a perfect child. When you have a perfect star, a solar system, then you create perfect planet. And this is part of gradual understanding. Gradually, nowadays we go to clinics to have all sorts of conditions to create a child. In the near future, through the whole system, we'll learn how to transfer energy without allowing defects in the process. When you create a perfect sun, it creates a perfect physicality of a solar system or a physicality. And not every sun can exist in the same position. That's why we have different stars or suns in different positions of the universe. Would your child will be, or child of your soul, which you led to the creation of an interaction of the fields, decides to live in this universe, but this field matches another universe, and you go to the universe to visit or make contact with or be in touch with. We have a lot to learn yet. I can spend the time since the creation of this planet till now to teach from now on to the same time lapse, and it's still just scratch the knowledge of the creation, and not even get to the first step. Any other question?
I think you've handled them all here today, which is unusual. Is there some further things we should be addressing here today?
Not really. It's just that please finish registration for the 19th and the 16th. And as I said to many people, if you come on the 19th, register for the 16th, register for the 19th. But now, more specifically, that's why we let you to have a taste on the 16th and then on the 19th, which one you want to join. Because on the 19th is hourly sessions with each. And we will develop or bring in a technology or a structure that you cannot see all the participants. That does not allow a lot of things which we don't desire to be there. And as I said, go to the store, and I hope by Monday it'll be. And join the scheme we set up. There is a reason for it, and then we'll tell you. Go for prevention. And if you have a problem that can lead to something else, go for the enhancement. Or just take a structure with it, because then we tell you what's the reason for this when you go to the next steps. In a way, we are hoping to, by next maybe 2 years, to cover 80% of the world population through this technology of wellness, feeding, and what you call energy requirement and communication. We are moving to negotiate with government in a way that we govern through governments, and it's set up nationally inside. But the biggest problem is what we're going to do with so many unemployed people, from pharmaceutical to medical doctors to the train drivers to the sailors. As one by one we hit, you'll see it there as prevention. But when I prevent today, nothing happens. The hospital surgeries and doctor surgeries goes empty because there is nobody going there to be sick. When you create the transportation, the airports doesn't mean anything. The ships have no meaning. The car industry is obsolete. What are you going to do with the next one, next cycle? We create new cycle of systems need. But what are we going to do with millions of doctors with no job because nobody is coming in to be sick? Governments are breaking down through the burden of the pensions and covering sick people. The best solution is you pay once and you don't have any sick people. We are the key. We know exactly where we're going to hit. Then it comes, you become the travelers of the universe. And this is where we are targeting it. Not by death, but by option. There's a bigger plan for human race than you could ever imagine. As I said, you shouldn't have had ever understood the strength of what love is. And then Earth would have been in this position of becoming the center of what I call delivery of that. Try to understand today's knowledge. This answers a lot of your questions over decades and centuries. If you understood it, otherwise it's just a noise.
John Wells has,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mr. Cash, I've just looked into the store and it says we have to register before the 10th, 2 days in 2 days' time. I'm trying to get through with Rafael for payment through Brazil, but we're having a...
No. Brazil's situation is sorted apparently yesterday.
Yeah, but we here in Argentina, we have a very big problem. We can't send money out of the country.
We have.
I had that problem when I went over to Brasilia. So I paid over there in cash when I went to register.
Specific cases we have to look into.
Fine. I'll put the details up in the registration then.
We cannot do that because a lot of people abuse it. But individual cases, if you communicate through the same channels, we're keeping all the backlogs have been cleared in past 2 weeks, as I know. We try to find you are the odd one out. The Brazilian situation is, as I know, with Rafael, is sorted out yesterday. So if you live in Brazil, you register with Keshe Foundation Brazil, you make payments to the office in Brazil, you get invoice from them, and it's the same. If you live in Iran, it's the same. You register.
I'm in Argentina, and we're having very big problems with that.
Yeah, you're one-off. You understand? So we have to see and find a solution around that position with you. But in Iran, it's sorted. In China, is the same. A lot of Chinese sending the things through the PayPal, or they can make the payment to the Keshe Foundation in Gojo or in Jan and put it up. The same goes with what they call wellness conditions. People in Brazil want to use the facilities of the doctors for whatever condition they have. They pay now directly to the offices in in Brazil. And the same goes with Tehran, the same goes with China and other places. We have enough spread of companies around the world to be able to accommodate this. And in odd cases, we have to look and see what we can do. I'm aware of your condition. You're one off or two off, or in another way, we have to find a solution.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Try to link in with what we call the enhancement, what we call the full universal coverage. because we want to deal with the governments. And the more people we have under our what we call universal enhancement coverage policies, gives us a much stronger negotiating position. And this is one of the main things we want to do. There is a need for a change, but the change has to come by understanding, not by enforcement. I don't see why we need to harvest animals as pigs and cows and sheep and whatever, where now we can reach the essence of that condition that will satisfy us all. Would we ever crave for a steak or a God knows what? There's one thing which I forgot I have to mention. Keshe Foundation is a service provider. We don't get involved in medical practices or that. We provide services for what we call the medical teams around the world for doctors, and they use our technology. This week we have come to understand a lot with the, again, processes which is going on and what the exchange and development is. Some of you supported us with the 2 boys. We have started the process with them as of yesterday, and we will see what comes up and how they will change. We still need the support for that, for the foundations, underwriting, all those expenses. We need, some of you helped us, we need much more help. And we have seen beautiful changes in some others who are going through the same process. Our doctors and our medical team in the background are reporting a huge success with cancer. For this reason, today we are launching for them in the announcement, as we do now, to contact the Keshe Foundation through the channels which is put, that we put you in touch with the medical teams, looking for about 50, maybe to 100 cancer cases. They want to test any condition. Up to this week, our medical teams and others, we did not have enough data to support the what we call mass cancer research. And what we try, and today we have come to an understanding that do not expect to be accepted by the doctors in one go, but understand that the most extreme cases of the cancer will be considered by our doctors around the world as of this week. We forward your, what we call your request to them, they decide, and then in what understanding comes in. It has to be said, please do not get in touch and put your condition to the burden on our doctors and the Keshe Foundation team that I have no money, but I have cancer. This has to be covered. We have brought every possibility for the foundation to support this. But there is a minimum charge that if it's not met, the case will not be accepted, because we have enough inquiries around for other things. Because a lot of people come in, we can do, and I've been there, and then they say, oh, now I can do 20 euro a month. Sorry. We have a certain allocation for what I would call support of cases which the foundation will cover the cost. And we cannot do for everyone. Maybe one day it will come to that point. But at this moment, the doctors have put a valuation of, and it has to cover the cost of all the things which takes. And if that's not met, the case will be reconsidered maybe in the future, but not at the moment. And the interest is to get to the more diverse cancer conditions. And the request from the Keshe Foundation medical team, which we support, is 100 cases, 50 to 100 cases of the cancer will be considered as of today by medical groups around the Keshe Foundation for process, because in a way it's the knowledge gained and how we can help them to achieve what we call their understanding and development, the next cycle of the systems. So if you suffer or somebody you know from any condition of the cancer, the what we call the medical groups which work with us are ready to look into, to accept, and the cost has to be covered from the outset, not that I'll pay next week, next month or whatever. There's a reason for this and it has to be done very rapidly. So if you came to the foundation before with your loved ones or yourself, go through the same channel, the what we call, we always gave the address, and then I think Rick has it, he can put it on the screen. Contact the health section of the Keshe Foundation, they forward it to the doctors and they come back, and the process can start as early as next week, because there's a part of the technology which we would like to know how they succeed, that it helps us with the setting of the next phase. So if you contacted the Keshe Foundation before for cancer, our team of doctors around the world are ready to consider now. As I said, even we said in the what we put out, that as it becomes available, we open channel by channel. And go on the what we call the Keshe Foundation store for registration of these are the 20-year contracts for wellness, comprehensive covering of the wellness. And then somewhere in the future, a package will be offered per family, which means we most probably, with the way we see it, is at the moment it looks too expensive, but in the future we look around about 15% of the family income to go for the wellness, the food, the energy, and everything else. And we change it according to the national statistics area by area. If in China or in Africa, a family has €1,000 income a year, we cannot ask for €1,000 a month. But in America, where a family earns 100,000 a year, 15,000 cover, that it covers for the other part of the Keshe Foundation, it'll be something that we all help each other to come across. And this is part of the development which we see to go extended and beyond.
Was that email health@spaceshipinstitute.org? Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are just a mailbox. We forward these to the doctors and to each section, and it comes through them.
Okay.
I know they're looking for they don't give any guarantees that we will, what do you call it, bring you to wellness 100%, whatever, but we are there to support them to understand more, that we build systems for them in the future that they can be more efficient and more effective. But what I've seen is amazing what this new technology does with the conditions which there's been no answer in the world of medicine. And it's remote, there is no medication, there is nothing, you just listen to the sound of the music, as I call it.
Well, we certainly have lots and lots of testimonials of the plasma technology. Speaking of which, we do have the testimonials meeting coming up on Monday, December 12th. Starts at 8 p.m. Central European Time. And I'm sure we'll have dozens and dozens of testimonials there. In fact, we already have them lined up from the Brazilian community alone. So people are invited to come to the testimonials and give your testimonial as well. It's a great way to pay back for receiving the knowledge, and you can share it with others, and it's a great experience to do that.
Let's see what comes up and how things take shape. And most probably the 16th and 19th will teach us a lot, massive amount more. One of our data we are looking at, especially addiction, on Friday, and then Monday is then putting these to our doctors in a specific way and deliver data to the governments and to officials and the people who work in the line of addiction. In a way, if you committed a crime and to satisfy your addiction, doesn't matter what it is, we give you guarantees to the court that you'll never commit such a crime again because you'll never be addicted. And this is how it will be done. We give to the technology guarantees to governments and to nations that man would not commit a crime through addiction. And we'll have a look. And as I said to somebody who was a doctor with us this Sunday in Vence, he said they come to the point that you doctors become the point of what I call delivery in a beautiful way. There's something which a lot of doctors will understand, and then it comes to the way you buy. Like example, now you go on the line buying food from the store. You go to the same store and you buy contracts with Keshe Foundation for delivery of the food. You don't receive it, but you get the contract through before going online and getting what you need through yourself. We will put out early next year a franchise that doctors become franchised through the Keshe Foundation. And when the patients go to them, they put through the condition to the foundation and through the same process that we structure it that way. These are all getting set up in the background. That you're a doctor, as I said to one of the doctors on Sunday, you sit in your office, somebody comes with their fibromyalgia, yes, it can be done. You just give them a headphone. You don't need nothing in your surgery. You make an arrangement with the Keshe Foundation team in the what we call the system banks. And this is the data of the person with a fibromyalgia or with a cancer or whatever. The people here set up the system up, few sessions, and it's got seeing all sorts of MRIs and all sorts of gadgets in the doctor's room. It'll be removed. Because now health will become centralized. And this is on the card 100% within the next 5 to 10 years. You go to a doctor, you won't see anything but a chair and a headphone. Even diagnosis, we don't believe their diagnosis because they make mistakes. We have developed, we diagnose exact condition with us before we deliver what we needed for recovery of the patient by the doctor. This is not anymore digital, it's a plasma technology, and now it's in our hand. Part of this 16 and 19th is part of this program. And this will carry on the same. Then it comes delivery of energy. Whatever energy you need, you don't need what we see now with our system to go down the cables and highways down the roads from power stations. The same way energy can be delivered as in mass down the telephone lines. The Russians cannot boycott you anymore with no gases. The communication will be the same, and the transportation will be the same. It's a beginning. Now we have received the backing for it. Slowly, we'll see the change. But we have to do all the tests, and when we go out, we've done enough ground-based cover by our scientists to understand it. Thank you very much for today. But those of you who have a cancer condition, or and you can cover the cost to the doctors, to the teams, get in touch, and I'm sure they'll be glad to see if they can bring that change to you. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you for today. I think today is one of the pivotal point teachings of the whole Keshe Foundation in the past 20 years. If you understood why we did all the work for the past 20 years to bring you to today's teaching. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Keshe. This is a great workshop today. Okay, let's phase out here. So this has been the 462nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. As I announced, we have the testimonials meeting coming up on Monday, and people are welcome to attend that and hear about the amazing testimonials of the plasma technology, or to present your own testimonial. And we'll have plenty of them, and I'm sure it will be quite interesting. So again, that's at 8 p.m. Central European Time. It's on our live stream and our Zoom channel. Okay, I think that's it for today. We'll go out with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And thank you everybody for attending today. And thank you for considering to attend the workshops on the 16th and 19th as well. Okay, bye for now, and see you in the next public teaching.